What shoe sizes should you try to source for resale in general? He's an online arbitrage pro. He's in the module about what sites have the best deals, where I'm talking about selling shoes, and he's not sure if I ever mentioned it. But to answer his question specifically on which shoes and which shoe sizes you should source for resale in general, I'm going to answer it overall, right? Because I feel like the same answer kind of applies not just to sourcing shoes, but also to sourcing like clothing and, stuff like that when we're talking about sizes in general, okay? So my general rule of thumb is like, I'll literally reverse engineer it, right? So for example, let's say I'm sourcing a website and I find an example of a shoe that has multiple offerings of that size. Maybe it comes in like size 8, size 9, size 10, whatever it is for men, right? Or same thing for women, right? What I'll then do is I'll say, okay, this is a great opportunity for me to buy this shoe. It's profitable if I resell it on, platform X, whether that's Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. But then I need to know which shoe size to buy and which market has, the biggest, or which shoe size, has the biggest market, for that actual size, right? So I want to basically then Google, okay, for boots, what's the most, common men's shoe size? Bam, it's gonna come out with some results. Don't just take the first search results, whatever it says for that. You wanna kind of check a couple of them, and then you'll start to see like, okay, 3 out of the first 4 that I checked all said that size 9 was the most, I'm just making this up as we go along, said that size 9 was the most common among men. Bam, you probably wanna source the size 9 or something very, very similar than that if it's, out of stock, right? This usually only kind of, you only run into this problem. I've seen it a lot sourcing liquidation, for example. When you're sourcing, liquidation pallets and you're not checking the sizes, so you might end up with like plus sizes or like really, really small, and that's why the inventory is so cheap, right? So you always want to make sure whether you're sourcing liquidation, you're sourcing from like a bulk deal site, or wherever you're sourcing, regardless, that you always check the size by seeing, for whatever market or whatever kind of piece of clothing it is, and whether or not it's prevalent that people are actually wearing that size and if it's common or not, okay? You can find that stuff out pretty quickly online. But to answer your question specifically, like let's say hypothetically you source something and there was like size, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for women, right? Well, then I would literally just Google that and be like, hey, what's the most common women's sneaker size in the US, since I'm currently in the US and I'm sourcing for the US market, right? It's gonna pop me up a search result, then I'm gonna try to source that shoe size or something very, very close to it. So great question, Ben. Thank you for asking it. You guys have questions, I have answers. If you have a specific question, make sure to drop it in the comments section down below. I would love to answer it.